And we are live on the Happy Hustle podcast. JP Sears, welcome to the show, my brother.
What's up, Gary? Good to be here with you, brother.
Man, I'm super stoked for this one. You are literally my favorite comedian. I don't just say that to blow smoke. You are like a conscious comedian. You know, you're an author, a famous YouTuber. You got millions of fans all over the world. You're a best-selling author. We are live on the Happy Hustle podcast. JP Sears, welcome to the show, my brother.
Very good to be here with you, brother.
Man, I got feedback. Super stoked for this one. You are literally my favorite comedian. Is that on yours?
I don't think it's on mine.
You are like a conscious comedian. You know, you're an author, a famous YouTuber.
There we go. Our past selves were visiting us. Yeah. Travel. It's amazing.
All right, let's do that again. JP Sears, you are live on the Happy Hustle podcast. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate being here with you, my friend.
This is going to be great. JP, what is something interesting about yourself that not too many people know?
That's a good question. Without incriminating myself, not many people would know I'm an introvert. You know, I like the sport of extroversion. I sincerely love it. I think I do it well. Yet I've got a finite capacity that I can extrovert. Then I basically want to be with you and just, go off to a Montana-like setting, inside or out. And I need a lot of quiet self-time.
That's pretty interesting, especially because you put yourself out there so frequently, but deep down you're introverted. That is something interesting.
Yeah. It's like, gender fluidity, extrovert, introvert fluidity. I think we're all both. It's just I'm more introvert than I am extrovert.
Makes sense.
We could also use bisexual analogies as well. Just
works.
All the spectrums.
Let's try to offend everyone on this podcast.
That seems like a great career move.
I'm kidding. I love your hoodie though. You say, I'm offended. And it's got the little emoji because let's face it, there is a lot of fragile humans right now, given the landscape, given, what's going on in the world. It's a crazy time. And, really what I'm excited about talking to you in particular is embracing your inner weirdo. You have that phrase, like, you beautiful weirdos, on your podcast, Awaken with JP. And I see weirdness as a gift. And you specifically have been able to hone that gift, been able to tap into the unapologetic side of JP.
Yeah.
And then create like amazing parody videos talking about real life important matters and shedding light and awareness on, difficult topics. I love how you embrace your inner weirdness and do so. What initially got you into this whole conscious comedy realm?
Yeah, man, initially, like the prerequisite was denying my weirdness for a long time. It's like you kind of, looking back, I can reverse engineer it, kind of like watch the game tape of my life and realize denying it from myself was necessary in order to create the desire for it and the passion for me to truly just be me. And I think we're all weirdos. I think the design team is way too intelligent to make normal people, but normalcy is a curse we inflict on ourselves, and then normalcy becomes I think is the most infectious disease of our kind. To me, that's the real pandemic, normalcy. Yeah. So for me, like, what was important for me about 6 years ago when I started making comedy videos was I broke the bonds of fear. I still have fear, of course, I'm a human, but I broke a lot of the fear that was holding me back. And the fear was around, what will people think of me? The fear of rejection, the fear of not getting people's approval, the fear of putting comedy videos out and people thinking they're not funny. Also the fear of, like, this could hurt my career, because at the time I was a life coach and it's supposed to be serious, not funny, I told myself. So I had a lot of fear. And it's funny how, fear is really the prime thing that holds any of us back in any area of our life. And that it was holding my weirdness out, holding it back. And I think weirdness is synonymous with our gifts. And I look at what I would call my gifts that I can bring to the world, and my gifts that have, created a level of success for myself. And it's all weirdness. Any video I put out that has a remote level of success, it's because I'm expressing a point of view that is not normal. If you want to make the world's least funny video and the least appealing video that nobody wants to watch, just share a very expected, normal point of view. But when when I can give a weird point of view, it's like sharing the truth that is maybe not obvious, or sharing a perspective that's not obvious. Then a lot of people want to watch that because it's appealing. And I think, I think we all crave weirdness, yet we're all afraid of our weirdness because we were put into motion as kids, seeking the currency of approval. And the more we are normal, the more we got normal people's approval. But the problem with that is, to get approval, you can't be yourself, at least not as a kid. So you get good at being whatever normal is, whatever you need to do to get approval, which being your weird self. Usually we're constrained for that. Like, don't color that, put that back, and sit down, get in your box. So anyway, I think weirdness is our freaking human nature.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It definitely is. And I always think back to my personal experiences of like conforming to society's, shackles, or just being unapologetic, like the goofball that I really truly am. And it always resonates more so with, human beings, to just be unapologetically yourself and embrace your inner weirdo. Because let's face it, the world now is so much more connected online, and we can see through the BS so much easier. Like, the meter of everyone is super smart. They're emotionally intelligent, to the sense where if you are, standing in front of a fake Lambo, people know that's a fake Lambo, dude.
For sure. You're right. People are way, way more intelligent than some people give them credit for. And the normalcy, it's a freaking lie. It's a facade. And, gone are the days, like, if you think of like the archetypal newscaster, they are 100% constipated with their weirdness while they're on air. And they're talking in this like artificially fake tone of voice like this. And we all know, like, oh yeah, like, they're full of crap. Like, of course, that's not how that person really is. But then that's just the newscaster. When we don't think we're like, really trying to pull one over on people, but we are, because we're in our normal mode. Like, people can recognize that just the same way we can recognize the fakeness of the newscaster.
Yep.
I think.
I love how that you just said that. Constipated. I'm taking notes on this. Constipated with their weirdness, because you put on this facade of like who we're supposed to be, right? And it's unfortunate, because a lot of people don't step into their full power, their full potential, because they're not really embracing who they truly are. And that's why I really want to spotlight you and how you've been able to just tap into your true self. But before I do, I want to hear what baby JP was like. Talk to us a little bit. Give us some backstory. Give some context. What was childhood like for JP?
Dude, yeah, it was like many different things. Like, just all the colors of the rainbow. My dad's original nickname for me was the Wild Man from Borneo. Now, why Borneo and shit? My dad would probably get canceled now. Like, whoever the Borneo people are, that's probably wildness appropriation. So as a kid, I was wild. I was always jumping off things, falling down steps, doing flips off the couch. So that was part of me. And, another aspect of me as a kid was I was afraid of anger. And so there's like a relative phobia I developed around emotions that I didn't know how to deal with. Anger being one of them, fear to an extent for sure. And then, around 5 years old, sports became pretty big in my childhood. And then as I entered school, another facet to all of that came, a sense of humor where, I just loved making my friends laugh at school and hanging out with them. I loved being able to like make teachers laugh and usually getting into trouble if it didn't get a laugh. So man, and then I also remember it was always important to me to be kind to people. And I was by no means perfect. I don't have a clean track record as a kid by any stretch. I don't know who would. Yet I remember this comes from my mom, but it just felt so good to be kind to people.
Yeah, my dog thinks so too. He's fucking in the room.
I think my dogs will interrupt us at any time. So unpredictable.
Part of the fam, you gotta love them. But I love that too about how you just really focused on kindness, and your mom preached that as a staple in your household, and equally so my mom did. And I think kindness, I love your hoodies too, pro kindness. I mean, we need more kindness. We need more empathy in this world, especially online. It's kind of sad, some of the hurtful, words that get exchanged just because different political views or religious views or any type of views,
I agree. And I would look at, if I were hallucinating some silver lining in all the emotional outrage online, at least we're getting to see what's inside of people. Like online, it's a reflective surface where nobody posts anything online that isn't like already in them. So you see someone's post, you disagree with them, and then you come out with this outrage. Like, dude, that outrage isn't being created in the moment when you read their post. It's been in there for a while. Just like if you squeeze an orange, like, dude, the juice ain't created in the moment that you see it trickling out. It's created a long time ago. It's just now it's getting externalized so you can see what's in there. So if anything, there's many things with it, but one of the silver linings is with the outrage culture, I've developed more compassion for people. When you see angry people, you realize no one's angry unless they're afraid, and they're not afraid unless they're hurt. And then you have hurt people trying to hurt people. So I've certainly developed a lot of compassion, knowing like, dude, like people are really hurting inside for sure.
Yeah.
And I've also developed boundaries for sure. It's like, dude, I don't want to get enmeshed in the drama of you feeling your insecurities and blaming my point of view in this video for how you feel about yourself. Piss off. I'm going to retain my personal sovereignty. I'm not going to be intimidated and, censored out of fear. Instead, I'd rather have compassion for those people.
Yeah. Oh, so well said. I mean, hurt people. And really, it's just a reflection of what's going on inside. Yeah. And when we can all operate with more kindness, more empathy, and really just more understanding, I think the world would be a better place. And
I agree. And I would say the single greatest thing, if someone's affected by the outrage culture, like, oh my God, like, look, I just posted this thing and look at these people.
Look at JP in Speedo. Oh my gosh. Is that wrong?
Exactly. Some people don't have Speedos. That's Speedo appropriation.
I love rocking them.
To me, that my biggest piece of advice to not be negatively affected by this thing that can be pretty disease-like outrage culture is don't engage. Don't engage at the level of projection with people. Someone's never upset about what they think they're upset about. And if they're coming at you with, you offended me, you do this, you see there's zero self-responsibility. It's not, I feel hurt. I am reminded of something about myself that I saw in the mirror of your post. Cool. Now you can engage with that person at a compassionate, connected level. Yet when we try to engage with the hysteria, our engagement creates more disconnection, and usually it's at the expense of ourselves. So it's like trying to engage with a hurricane. Like there's there's actually not an outlet for connection in that kind of emotional outrage. So trying to change someone's mind in the comments section, we're just fueling the fire at the expense of our own mental and emotional well-being, as well as, dude, wasting time in an area where we would be better off outside looking at a tree.
Yeah.
Instead of spending the time like, no, you said fuck me. Well, fuck you. I'm looking at the tree.
Meh. M-E-H.
And then the other thing is realizing if someone's in the outrage moment, whether it's at you or someone that you want to defend, you gotta realize you're looking at a hurt person. They're not acknowledging their hurt. I get that. But the last thing most of us would want to do is hurt an already hurting person.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I mean, you nailed it. We all, I think, at our core have, let's say not all, that's general. Most of us have quite decent intentions, like people want to be good. They want to do right and morally have standards that, like are just living with kindness and empathy. I just think we've gotten so caught up, and I had no intention to go here on this conversation with you. However, I like that we're here because I think it's relevant and important to talk about, but it's like, we need to talk about bringing more kindness, bringing more peace and love to the world. And I think that's why people connect with your videos. I mean, because you do so elegantly connect with them with humor about very serious topics, and I want to hear your process. How do you create some of these parody videos, these satirical, greats that you're just like, are they scripted? Are they improv? What's your process?
Yeah. The process begins with an idea, and I usually don't feel like I think of the ideas. It's more of a sensation of like, oh, like the idea comes to me. And, I'll note the idea down. And sometimes the idea is like so hot and timely. I'm like, I'm going to write this video and film it today. There was a video I put out, it's probably at least 4 months ago at this point, called What It's Like to Believe Everything the Media Tells You. I went to bed the night before, that idea dropped in. I couldn't wait to wake up, wrote the video and called my videographer and said, we're filming this bad boy today and putting it out today. And so sometimes it just like, along with the idea, there's a timeline, like do it now. But a lot of the ideas, they'll come in not necessarily with a timeline, and oftentimes ideas are inspired by like what I'm seeing in the world around me, my life, something that pisses me off, something that creates an emotional charge. Like, I think our emotions are incredible biofeedback mechanisms. If we just pay attention to like what they're associated with, we're going to be looking at a gold mine.
Yeah.
And yeah, so once I have ideas, the first hour of my day is spent in creative writing, where I'm developing ideas, basically writing video scripts, and I'll refine it a couple times and then go film it. And
boom, just like that, huh?
Yeah, relatively simple and streamlined. For many years, I was just a one-man show, which was killing me. So
slowly just taking years off my life.
Yeah, probably because I'm a control freak and I need to have control of everything.
Yeah.
But a couple years back, I hired, he's just been a gem. Now he's my full-time videographer and editor. And yeah, being able to work with him has been absolutely amazing, because that means I can move faster on ideas, like, hey, let's do this now. And, it's just the two of us, and then he edits it. Whereas if something was drawn out, more produced, like here's a team of, I've been a part of some commercials where there's 40 production people, and a 4-minute video takes 2 days to film. It's like, that's awesome, but that's not fun. And I need to move quicker. It's just part of my process. So
yeah, I can totally empathize. I mean, I've been in the, TV film industry for over a decade, and it's just mind-boggling to me the sets and the inefficiencies that come with it. It's like they got a guy to bring you water, and then they got a guy to bring the water guy water. And it's like, what
and
do
then,
you? Yeah.
And then you pan out. I was like, why does this fucking thing cost $250,000 to?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like never have I seen such inefficiency, except on movie sets and TV shows and commercial sets. And I see, how you create content, how you put out not only quality, but quantity, because it is ever evolving. Like times are changing. We need to be consistent. We need to be relevant. We need to be constantly posting and sharing our inner weirdo. Right. So I see how, the rise of the online entrepreneur and the video, medium just being massive, and how you've just mastered it, being able to put out quality and quantity, but also the timeline on how quick in turnaround time you make it happen. What are some tips maybe for, like, let's see some happy hustlers out there, mainly they're aspiring entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs, and they want to, increase their brand awareness or their business brand. What are some tips that you could bestow upon all of us to get that quick turnaround time of quality and quantity?
Yeah. I would say for me, the single biggest tip, and it not only helps the turnaround time, but it's the best thing to get more views and get more audience. And that is simply give value to your audience in an entertaining way. So, just taking a step back from that, many of my biggest videos are me just sitting in a chair talking to the camera.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a nice camera, so it's a good picture, good sound quality, but there is zero bells and whistles, zero set design and changing things up. So what I've found is, and I can look at other creators and realize like this is true for them as well. If you have just great quality, good, valuable content, you don't need the bells and whistles. A lot of times the bells and whistles are to compensate for the lack of content. Just kind of like you look at Hollywood as an example. Some of the most god-awful, horrible stories, zero creativity are the most expensive movies.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, all right, we need $300 million in special effects because this thing is nothing.
Yeah.
Literally nothing without those special effects. So I think if you focus on giving your best quality, best value, that is number one. And number two is adding the entertainment to it. Information doesn't sell. Information's not really shareable, but whatever your great information is, having that package with some level of entertainment. My entertainment happens to be comedy, pretty heavy on the comedy. And someone out there might say, well, dude, I'm not an entertainer, nor am I a comedian. It's like, well, yes, you are an entertainer. Your biggest entertainment tool is your personality. So if nothing else, letting your personality be as natural as you can in the video, it makes your information less newscaster like, here's the information that won't inspire you, won't make you want to watch this, won't make you want to share it. It can move it to great information in an entertaining, connective way. So I think it's great value first and add some elements of entertainment to it second. And by the way, the adding elements of entertainment to it, I just infuse your personality. That's just one small suggestion. You can add like cool little cutaways, just like quirky, easy to use ways of comedy or illustration, even if it's not comedy. But man, it's that's by far my two most important pieces of advice.
Yeah. I mean, great pieces of advice, like focus on delivering massive value first and foremost, just to recap, and then infusing entertainment, don't be boring, like actually share your message with passion, with purpose, and, hopefully it leaves a positive impact. Those are the three pillars of, happy hustling to me: passion, purpose, and positive impact. And I think I heard it really well put from, I think, our mutual buddy, Russell Brunson. He, he wrote in Traffic Secrets. I don't know if you read it, but he says, if you have a problem with your offer, it's either the hook, the story, or the offer. Like, it can only be those three things. And it's like, are you hooking people with your video content? Yes or no? Are you telling a story that engages, that's relatable? And is your offer quality? Maybe your offer is just, hey, this video, or hey, subscribe to my channel, or hey, buy my course, whatever it may be. But just focus on the hook, the story, and the offer.
Yeah.
And don't be boring, be entertaining, and you'll do all right.
100%. Yeah. I love how Russell breaks seemingly complex things down into the simple essence that it really is. He is just a master at that.
Yeah, he really is. That's actually where we first met, was at Funnel Hacking Live, like a couple of years back.
Yeah, was that Dallas, Texas? In, I want to say it was February 2017.
Ooh, you're good. You're good. What was I wearing? What color undies?
You were definitely wearing the blue underwear.
Yeah, damn, you're good. I know you weren't wearing any, so that's
still not.
Yeah, you dog, you.
Yeah, the underwear industrial complex, bro. I'm not going to let it control me.
No, that's conforming to society if you wear underwear.
Yeah, they want your nuts hugged tighter
to
your pelvic floor.
Oh yeah, for sure. I hear the fabric actually is slowly sawing the scrotum.
Yeah, it's basically 5G for your undercarriage.
Dude, right you are. Couldn't say it myself.
Probably actually shouldn't say that. Get our interview censored.
We're banned. Sorry, team. Anyway, man, I want to talk about some actual tangible happy hustle hacks for all my my interview guests. I try to, extract some tangible happy hustle hacks. So people watching, people listening, they can be like, damn, I learned something, not just, got entertained, but I actually learned too. And I want to talk about health, because I know you're big into health. You're jacked. I mean, you got the quads the size of a rhinoceros quad. And I'm serious. Look at his quads, people. If you haven't seen them, follow him online and look at them quads. They're impressive. And I play soccer, so I know good quads. And those are good quads, my friend. Regardless, talk to me about health. Talk to me about some happy hustle hacks for staying, mentally sharp, physically strong, and how you do so.
Yeah, man. Well, I think in the old world that we're no longer a part of, health and fitness were looked at as something far different than, say, entrepreneurship or being a creator. Yet now, like, hey, it's freaking 2020. Your health and your fitness is part of your mother effing business plan. I look at the quality of my work, the quantity that we talked about. I mean, I'm on a high level production schedule. If I don't have good energy, that is a shot in the foot to my business. So, and I can share as many details as you like, but when I am going to bed on the early side, when I'm getting up to do stretching, when I'm working out in the evening, when I'm eating my good food, I love that helps my health. But I'll tell you what's even more motivating for me is this helps my business. Yeah. This helps my creativity. And more than the business and the creativity is, it helps my freaking mission in the world. My purpose of helping people grow, heal, and awaken through conscious comedy. So, man, I mean, I would invite everybody, if you haven't already, you got to shatter the old mental framework of they're two separate things and heavily associate your health, your fitness, your energy with your business and your purpose. They deserve to be associated.
Yeah. So well said. I mean, you cannot sleep on your health, people. It's just, it's time to wake up if you haven't already, and prioritize it and optimize cognitively, physically. take care of your body. What you eat every single day affects your mood, your energy. And as JP said, he's not going to be able to produce content of this quality without his energy high. And it all is connected. It all is correlated. Do you have like a go-to, biohack per se that you've been leaning on lately, or something that you've seen some great success with?
Yeah, a great question. Yeah, I do a fair bit of stuff. I'll give you a couple.
You drink your own urine, JP?
I drink other people's urine.
That's new.
It's more connective to the community around me. But recently I've gotten pretty religious using blue light blocking glasses at night. I use a company called Blue Blocks.
I know them.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
So getting serious about the blue light exposure at night, that's the latest in my biohacking. It's something I've known about, but I never really addressed in a committed way. So that makes a meaningful difference to me, reducing my blue light ingestion at night. And the other thing, and it's probably doesn't qualify as a biohack, but it freaking jazzes me up so much that I'm going to play this card. Doing incantations every morning. I do probably 2 or 3 minutes worth of them, but just yelling out. I've got my routine of my mission statement, my power virtues, all this stuff I'm extracting from a Tony Robbins event. My primary question. So, yelling out what's important to me, my goals, my mission, in an affirming, physical, loud way. Like, dude, it gets my whole body and mind jacked. Like, all right, let's go into the good battle today.
Make your move.
100%. So
that's Tony Robbins, if people don't know, but I'm so with you on that, man. Like I jump on my rebounder every morning to just say my mantras, and it's like, if you're not saying mantras, if you're not manifesting the things that you want to become a reality, you're missing it. Like, our thoughts become, actions and beliefs. And I'm butchering that whole quote, but that's where, it all starts in the mind.
Yeah, man. And it's so easy. It is incredibly inexpensive because the price is free. I think it's because it's priceless. But if people did nothing other than recite their goals or affirmations in the morning, and not just like, hey, like I want a bit, but no, like getting animated, generating the excitement that these goals and your purpose deserve. Like, dude, that's been a game changer for me, to be honest with you. I've been running with that since last December.
Nice.
I'm sticking with it because it gives me such a dude, like those 3 minutes are probably the best return on investment throughout my day.
Yeah. So well said. And I just couldn't agree more about the power of speaking your truth, your, desires, your goals out to the universe. And speaking of the universe, I want to get a little woo-woo, because I know you wrote the book, How to Be Ultra Spiritual. And I love it's 12 and a half steps to spiritual superiority. Talk to us a little bit about how you connect to a higher power, how, you tap into source energy. Maybe, I don't know if it's one God or another. To me, it's just about being connected. What's your practice look like to tap in spiritually?
Yeah, I love the question. In my practice, certainly, it doesn't rely on some kind of mental framework of what's God, what's nature, what's the universe, and it's probably like maybe all the same. So that. And I guess that's the wisdom of your question. You asked for a practice, not a theory. And I love that, because I love to not even believe my own theories, because I think we're all full of crap. It's live beyond the mind. So, one of my primary, I would call it a spiritual practice, is creativity. And, I mentioned earlier when I have an idea for a video, it doesn't feel like I think of the idea. Feels like the idea is given to me. And my sense, and this sounds woo-woo, I don't know if it's true, it's just my sense that the idea is it's like fed to me from an umbilical cord that I don't see. So when I am in an intentional creative space, whether that's writing a video or I'm on stage doing stand-up to a full audience, I feel incredibly connected to something bigger than myself. So creativity is one of my prime spiritual practices. I guess performing would be another, and getting a little bit more into tactical levels. I'm not perfect with this, but I aim to do a 5-minute meditation each day.
Nice.
And I'm not levitating during the freaking meditation yet. I feel a subtle sense of connection to the world around me. And my definition of spirituality is simply feeling connected to something greater than yourself. So that means like hugging a tree, like you're literally connected to something greater than yourself, and that qualifies. And then, with what I'm talking about mostly here, it's an intangible connection, yet it's still sensed, it's still felt in a subtle yet noticeable way. And that is incredibly important to me. It really is.
Yeah. And you hit the nail on the head with the meditation. It doesn't have to be perfect. I also am no meditation guru, but I do know the value of just channeling my breath, sitting down for 5 minutes and just tapping in, to something greater than ourselves. I love hugging trees and grounding myself outside and just being connected to Pachamama because, I have the 10 alignments of being a happy hustler. And one of them is nature connection, just getting out connected. And it's severely overlooked, it's like.
It is. And dude, you mentioned the breath, what the hell is more spiritual than the breath? Because as you're breathing in, you are literally connecting through your breath to something greater than yourself. You ain't breathing in yourself. You're breathing in part of what's greater than you. And we do that all day long, yet the difference is noticing it. That's why I like being intentional with one's breath, noticing your breath. It's become so powerful present day because it works.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I want to do a hard U-turn here. And I always ask about money because let's face it, money's important. It's a tool. Yes, to achieve happiness in some capacity, you need to have this tool. I want to ask how you happy hustle your money, how you manage it, invest it, spend it, save it in a particular manner. Is there any tangible tactics or take homes that you can share with the happy hustlers out there in regards to money?
Yeah, I spend more of it than I have. I like the ball, get the young Mike Tyson plan, get the exotic tigers in, and
make it rain everywhere.
Dude, man, yeah, I don't think I'm a good example to follow here. That's something, right now I'm grateful that things are great. And my wife and we live in a nice house, and I love living comfortably. And, so now it's like, outside of our monthly expenses, the money's just building up in the bank account, which ain't a bad thing yet. I've got, I think it's in a couple of weeks, an appointment with a prospective financial advisor because, I'm realizing an area that I can improve is having my money work more proactively for me. But outside of that, I've been able to, make an investment in a yoga company that's
oh, cool.
It's an exciting company. I love what they stand for. We're
Which
very
one?
aligned. Black Swan Yoga.
Oh, with Aubrey, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So partners with him in it, and that's a fun little thing, and we'll see where that goes. But yeah, man, I'm outside of giving my wife and I a well-supported present moment experience with money. I'm definitely looking forward to it working for me more. Though I will say, outside of just essentially um, labeling myself an idiot with money. So I'm grateful I don't spend it frivolously. I will say that investing money in my business, it's been a great return on investment. And that comes in the form of a couple key hires I've made, which in the beginning, being a one-man show, like the idea of like, dude, hire someone, that means I'll be making less money. But obviously having the foresight with the right hire for the right thing, that money spent helps me make a lot more money than what I'm spending. So, within my business, there's been some key investments that have been important for my growth.
Yeah, that's such a great point. Like investing in yourself is single-handedly the greatest investment in your business, in yourself, in personal development. So agree with that. And one book that's really changed my life in terms of finances that I want to recommend, I've touched on it with the Happy Hustlers in the past, but I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. Have you ever read that book?
No, I haven't. I've heard of it.
Great book. You might even want to have him on your podcast. Cool. Because he is just a straight shooter when it comes to finances, and he keeps it real. And he's already made me thousands of dollars just from investing in the right IRA and Roth IRA and like all these random things that he recommends in the books. And you just take action and you just watch it grow, and it's beautiful. So highly recommend that book. And no, I'm not affiliated. No, I don't get a kickback. So I want to touch on, since you mentioned business and investing in yourself, what is a tangible happy hustle hack that you've learned being an entrepreneur? I know you're a creator, yes, but you're also an entrepreneur. What's some tangible take homes that we can share with the happy hustlers regarding entrepreneurship?
The first thing that comes to my mind, crap, I'm probably breaking the rules. It might not qualify as tangible, but I'll give you a quick backstory. There's a dear friend of mine. She's become a dear friend. Her name's Susie Batiz. She started a company called Poopery.
And I use that.
Yeah. The company is now valued somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 million. So through our friendship, and there's been times I've been able to interview her on stage for big audiences, her recipe for ultra success in entrepreneurship. I mean, I'm talking about starting from zero outside investors, all bootstrapped, growing something from zero to $500 million. She goes by what's called alive ideas. So when she feels an idea comes in and she feels excitement about it, she acts on that. There's a wise psychologist. He's died in, I think, 1963. His name is Carl Jung. And he has a beautiful quote which says, "Feelings are the language of the soul." So when you realize, like, cool, I've got excitement about this idea.
Yeah.
Like that's a language of your soul getting your attention. Pay attention to those live ideas. And so I learned kind of this vocabulary from Susie Batiz, who has just such an impressive track record, but she functions so intuitively. And like, yep, here's the idea. Let's go with it. Why? Oh, yeah, because it feels alive right here. I freaking love that. It's not being limited by the mind. So I think we're all mind-body instruments with an amazing biofeedback mechanism. And our feelings, our emotions are part of that. And, I on the flip side, I've had many times where there's like a good idea proposed or a partnership. It's good. It makes logical sense. But man, like, why does that feel heavy? Why does my energy go down? And it's subtle. It's there. And when I ignore that feeling, I look back and it's like, oh yeah, it never works out well, either financially or in the partnership, or financially it works out well, but it's a living hell and not worth it. It's just, so man, paying attention to that biofeedback mechanism, I think the entrepreneur of the future will be doing that. And that in some circles, there's a reason why microdosing is so popular. It's because it gets us, closer, more in touch with, the Susie Batiste, paying attention to alive ideas and dead ideas.
Yeah. Out of your head and into your heart. Right. And
you said it. Yeah.
Just listening to your intuition, such a great happy hustle hack, especially for entrepreneurship, but also across the board. Love that, JP. I want to do something fun. I want to ask you questions in the rapid fire round. This is basically just where you answer honestly the first thing that comes to mind. Does that sound cool?
Groovy, brother.
All right, man. First question. What's your favorite movie?
Pulp Fiction.
Favorite food?
I want to say ribeye steak.
Ooh, favorite book?
Conversations with God, Book 1 by Neil Donald Walsh.
Great book. What's your spirit animal?
It has to be a dolphin.
Oh, why did I think you were going to say that? That's great. Best business advice?
Man, amuse thyself and keep it playful.
Love it. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
It would be to, I want to say, feed hungry people. Yeah.
Damn. That's such a great answer, and it speaks to your character. Love that. One word you wish to be synonymous with your name for the rest of your life?
Yeah. Playful.
Favorite exercise?
Squats.
Oh, that just speaks into those rhino quads. 3 things you're most grateful for?
Man, my wife, certainly, my life, certainly. I mean, I feel so grateful for this gift and this forgetful experience called this incarnation. I really cherish it. And then I'm also incredibly grateful for, I'll call it my audience. They enable me to have a life that's beyond anything I ever dreamt of. So, and my audience, my life, my wife.
Yeah. Those are great things. And congratulations to you and your wife, because I know you're having a baby soon. So that's exciting.
We conceived when we didn't have anything better to do during the initial lockdown.
I bet you there's a lot of quarantine babies gonna happen.
I think so.
Steph and I have been holding out, but I'm gonna see if I can anaconda her later.
Dude, the process is so fun.
So true. Oh man, this has been great. JP, I would feel remiss if I didn't give you an opportunity to speak your mission one last time and also touch on some of the most pressing issues in your world right now. Talk to us a little bit about some of these really important issues that have come up lately and what people can do about them.
Yeah, there's 2 primary issues that I am incredibly passionate about. One is freedom of speech. One is freedom from fear. Kind of related, but they're also separate issues unto themselves. The freedom of fear, I think we're experiencing, call it a pandemic or a plandemic, but we're experiencing so much fear mongering. And I mean, you almost sound like a conspiracy theorist if you don't think there's intentional fear mongering going on. And I'm all about people being informed, but there is obviously an indoctrination of intense fear coming at us 24/7. And man, I think functioning independent of fear, functioning above the level of fear is how we have a great life. And I think it's how we make the best, wisest decisions for ourselves, our families, and the world around us. So, dude, I am all about, standing up to the force, whoever it is, an individual, a company, but people trying to control, manipulate other people by fear. I'm all about standing up for that and advocating people find the jails of fear that they find themselves in, because you can't get out of a jail until you're in one. So freedom from fear, and then freedom of speech. Censorship has been going on huge, and some of what's being censored on social media are points of view that help free people from the fear that they're under. And I've I love the Constitution of the U.S. I think it's brilliantly written, so much foresight there. And our civil rights, our freedom of speech, I think it is essential for us. And I've been censored by YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and I beyond just I've been censored. This is an issue that I'm passionate about because people need to be able to speak their minds. That's how we connect. That's how we have freedom of thought, and that's how we have individuality, and that's how we have freedom, period. And I think life is too damn important to not be able to live our lives. Going through the motions that we're told to go through is not a life whatsoever. And freedom is so damn important. Then when you look through all the heroic tales, the myths, and real life encounters, freedom becomes something people are willing to die for, because an unfree life is a life that eventually becomes not worth living. Now, hopefully we don't have to die for it, though. We have brave people fighting every day. You know, I know Navy SEALs and Special Forces people. We do have brave people actually fighting for and dying every day in a literal sense for our freedoms. Yet at a cultural level, hopefully we won't have to do that yet. I think it's pretty damn important to stand up for censorship and speak our minds and not acquiesce out of fear to the censoring bodies. So freedom of speech, freedom from fear. That's how we give rise to the miracles that are human beings.
I love that mic drop. I mean, so beautiful, JP. Seriously, I felt that. And freedom of fear, freedom of speech, and just freedom in general. I mean, I'm about that. And it's time, it's time we all stand up. It's time we all, step into our power, be proactive and pro kindness, and also just pro weirdo. So I love it, JP. This has been an amazing interview with you. I really hope the happy hustlers out there enjoyed it. I just want to acknowledge you and thank you again for sharing your love, your light, and your wisdom with all of us, and your humor, because let's face it, you are a conscious comedian. Well, actually, I want to ask, before I ask the final question, when's the Netflix special coming? I feel like you got to get soon.
That's a good question. It's definitely on my radar. Yeah. I'm not sure when. There's a part of me wants, various improvements in my stage comedy before, there's the first one crystallized on Netflix or whatever platform. So, I'm not good with timelines. I'm just good with, feels like that'll happen. I just don't know when, and I'm not too attached to the when. But that's a very flattering question, brother.
Oh man, please, you deserve it. What's your definition of happy hustling? I gotta ask. That's the final question, my brother. What does it mean?
Working hard with a freaking purpose. Yeah, and it's so beautiful. When I hear people say work harder or work smarter, not harder, it's like, man, that sounds like terrible advice. Dude, I love working hard. Yet I love working hard in alignment with my purpose. It feels like fuel. It's just one of my sources of life. So working hard with a purpose.
Love that, JP. Where can people go to find out more about you, to follow you online, to watch your amazing videos? Give us
one of the best places is my YouTube channel. My channel is called Awaken with JP, and all my other social media handles are also at Awaken with JP. So you can check me out there, and also I've got a bunch of comedy shows in various cities. You can go to my website, awakenwithjp.com, for the tour schedule. Or avoid me at all those places if you find me offensive.
Yeah, man, we got to get you out to Montana. Come on. I looked on the tour dates. There's no Montana shows.
I know. I would love to come up. I'd love to figure out how to make that happen.
I'm going to talk to some people up here. All right.
Love that.
See what we can do. You stay at my place. We take you, put you on stage out here. The Cowboys will love you.
I think it'd be groovy.
JP Sears, everyone. Thank you so much, JP. I appreciate you, brother.
Dude, it's a pleasure, Kerry. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you all for watching and listening. Peace and love.